Well, the holiday season is upon us, and even though the holidays may look a bit differently this year, we're still spending time with family, whether it's in person or virtually. U.S. Marine and mental toughness expert Eric Rittmeyer is here to help give us some tips on dealing with difficult family members through the holidays. Eric, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Ariel, good morning to you. Thank you for having me. It's so great to be here so early on a Saturday. I love it.
You're bringing the energy. Well, Christmas may be over, but we're still in the holiday season and we're looking ahead to the new year coming up. How do we deal with these difficult situations with family members, especially if we're on different political planes or just don't see eye to eye on certain issues?
You're a lot younger than me, Ariel. I can tell you when I was younger, we used to get along. Like, we could actually have disagreements. We could actually say who our favorite football team was. Now we're just all so upset with each other. It all boils down to we have to get a lot better at accepting opposing points of view. We have to be able to set aside our beliefs and just hear somebody out. We don't have to agree with them. We just want to make that person feel like we're actually listening to what they're saying. We're horrible listeners. We listen with the intent to reply, not with the intent to understand. But it all starts with remaining in control of our emotions. We're not very good at that.
And Eric, being in control of your emotions, it really comes down to kind of an emotional intelligence, being able to weather the storms and say, you know what, I'm going to choose my battles perhaps, and this just isn't worth me getting so upset about.
You're absolutely right. And the problem is, Ariel, we receive no training on this. We go to school, we memorize, regurgitate, we get thrown out into the workforce. Somebody says something we don't like. We haven't been taught the skills on how to handle an opposing point of view, on how to handle these things when somebody disagrees with us. So what do? We default to anger. We default to yelling, to screaming, to saying mean things. We have to get a lot better at learning how the emotion is what's important. We can feel however we want to feel. It's how we respond to that feeling that's important. We have to get a lot better at that.
So how do we get better, Eric? How are we looking at ways to manage our emotions? How can we do this better?
It starts with acknowledging our triggers. We all have these triggers. It's things that people say, things that they do that upset us. If we realize one of their triggers have been pulled, we can then internally say, okay, what's getting ready to happen right now is an emotion-based reaction. When we react, it's knee-jerk. So we say things and do things we're probably going to regret. We're hardwired to feel first and think later, as opposed to responding. When we respond, we process information logically. Then we can formulate a response where we're not going to say something or do something that's going to ruin a relationship or a friendship. So it all starts with that trigger, knowing it when it's pulled. What's going to happen after that's probably not going to be good.
Eric, I think that this emotional intelligence and the advice you're giving really could go a long way, obviously, not just dealing with difficult family members, but also in our professional lives, other personal relationships. It's really something that if you have your emotions in control, it affects all areas of your life.
It does. This is everything, Ariel. I mean, this year's really exacerbated that. But even prior to everything that happened here with the shutdown, we've just become this outrage culture where we automatically assume the worst intentions in people. We don't want to listen. We don't want to hear people out. We don't want to accept the fact that we have differing thoughts on issues. So you're absolutely right. It all starts with just realizing the person next to us, they probably love us. They probably want to be nice to us. So let's just be nice to them. They can be nice to us. It can be Hakuna Matata. We'll all get along. Everything will be great.
And Eric, you are a Marine, so I'm sure you were placed in many situations where you probably learned in sometimes the hard way of, hey, I got to stay cool under pressure.
There's an official term for that. This sounds very smart. I'm not smart, but these are the two biggest words in my English language. It's called systematic desensitization. You systematically desensitize your brain to pain, to adversity. It's what we learn in the military. We have to do the same thing from a relationship standpoint. If there are things that upset us, we have to learn to not let it upset us and just say, okay, it's an opposing point of view. It's okay. It's all right. But we have to we have to train our brains to realize that when we get upset, we can't just lash out at people.
Have to exercise patience. Eric, thank you so much for being with us on your Saturday morning.
Ariel, it's a pleasure meeting you. Have a nice day. Thank you so much.
Awesome.